Donald Trump's lawyers spent the last week of 2021 trying to convince the Supreme Court that the January 6th Select Committee is absolutely on a partisan witch hunt, and the evidence they provided is from a Washington Post interview with chair of the committee, Democratic Representative Benny Thompson. And Benny Thompson, in this Washington Post interview that they've submitted to the Supreme Court as evidence, Benny Thompson said, yeah, we're looking into whether or not Donald Trump engaged in criminal activity as one of the things we're doing with the committee. And his lawyers saw that, submitted it to the Supreme Court, and said, aha, we got him. They admitted that they're doing their job. You know, I'm not a part of Donald Trump's legal team. Probably because I'm not a lawyer and I don't like him. But as somebody who does have a decent amount of legal knowledge, worked in a law firm for nearly 2 decades with some of the best lawyers in the country, I can tell you this. One of the things you don't try to argue in a lawsuit is that the people you're accusing of doing something wrong were in fact only doing the job they were legally required to do. Yeah, that typically doesn't work out for the plaintiffs in that particular case. Because here's the thing. Part of what the committee's job is to do is to determine if any of the individuals they're looking at broke the law. And if they did, they can then refer them for criminal prosecution. And yes, that would include Donald J. Trump, the former president of the United States. It would also include people like Scott Perry, Jim Jordan, Steve Bannon, Mark Meadows, Ali Alexander. Literally anyone that the committee has requested information or interviews with could be referred for criminal prosecution if the committee determines they likely committed a crime. So Trump's big argument here sends his lawyers to the Supreme Court and says, you go nail him to the wall by accusing the committee of doing the job that it's allowed to do. Yeah, I know the Supreme Court is controlled by conservatives, 6-3. And 3 of those 6 on the right were put there by Donald Trump himself. But I gotta tell you, this is such a brain-dead argument that I don't even think the Trump appointees would be able to look at this and say, oh yeah, you're right. The Washington Post evidence you've provided us is so overwhelming that we have no choice but to deny the committee's request for Donald Trump's documents. Probably not going to happen. And for the record, yes, if the U.S. Supreme Court says, sorry, we're not buying this, then that ends Donald Trump's legal challenges. You can't get higher than the Supreme Court. At which point, the National Archives, who are in possession of Donald Trump's documents, hands him over. Trump can do nothing about it. This is their last-ditch effort. And of course, that's why it's so painfully stupid. Because it's all they got left. They know there's nothing else after this to stop that National Archives from turning over the documents. So they're throwing everything they've got at it. Like, oh, we read an interview with this guy where he says they're doing their job and we can't have them doing their job. Best of luck with that argument. Probably not going to win. And I sincerely hope you don't. And Donald, I hope you look at these lawyers you got working for you, man, and you realize no matter how much you're paying them, it's clearly well more than what they're worth.